Shalom, Shavua Tov, everybody, and welcome to a new week of the Israel Brief with me, Rolene Marks. And don't forget that I bring you those top stories from Israel every Monday to Thursday right here. And we are brought to you by Lay of the Land. So let's get into those top stories. And we begin with another historical moment for Israel. Yesterday, our Prime Minister, Naftali Bennett, landed in the United Arab Emirates to a guard of honor. Now, what makes this historical is that Bennett is the first Israeli Prime Minister to visit the United Arab Emirates, and he was received earlier today by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Zayed. The two leaders spoke about ways our two countries will be cooperating in trade, cyber security, research and development, aviation, travel, and so many other fields. Now, Prime Minister Bennett, addressing His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, said that the relationship between the two countries is very precious to us Israelis and to the whole region, and that we are not just neighbors, but we are cousins as well. The Prime Minister will also meet with other Emirati ministers, and it is a day of great pride for both the Israeli and the Emirati people as the Abraham Accords continue to take wing. In other news, on Thursday evening, the government extended its travel ban for all foreigners or non-Israeli residents or citizens for another 10 days. This is to try and stem the Omicron variant of the coronavirus spreading too much throughout the country. Now, the Prime Minister has said that Israel's policy of ratcheting up vaccinations while closing off our borders is helping to stem the tide of Omicron. And to date, we only have less than 100 serious cases, and we are hoping that it stays this way. But of course, this has raised concern, especially for many diaspora Jews who are concerned about how they feel being locked out of Israel. Our Diaspora Affairs Minister Nachman Shai addressed this. He says, we do acknowledge and we are concerned that travel bans may harm our relationship with diaspora Jewish communities. Meanwhile, an advisor to the Health Ministry has ruled out fourth coronavirus shots for the moment. And just to keep our borders or our citizens safe from the spread of the new variant, Israel has added Denmark and the United Kingdom to the list of red countries as numbers in those countries continue to soar. Yesterday, both Prime Minister Bennett and Foreign Minister Yair Lapid offered humanitarian assistance to the United States. This comes as a tornado has ripped through several states, including Kentucky, Arkansas, and various others, killing 100 people. Israel is one of the closest allies of the United States, and every time there is a humanitarian disaster, whether asked or not, or whether we have bilateral ties or not, Israel is amongst the first, if not the first, to offer assistance. Our thoughts and our prayers are with everybody who has been affected and is in the path of the tornado. And our final story is one we have been following for months now, and that is the Miss Universe competition. The pageant was held last night, or rather the early hours of the morning for us here in Israel, and we would like to say our hearty mazal tov to the new Miss Universe, Hanaz Shandu, who comes from India. Well done, Miss India. The first runner-up was Miss Paraguay, and the second runner-up was somebody who has fast become a favorite, Miss South Africa, Lalela Mswane. We are all familiar with the controversy that has followed Lalela on her road to Miss Universe. And Lalela, if you are listening, we would like to say to you, while you didn't take the crown and the sash of Miss Universe, you certainly captured the hearts of all of us around Israel who applaud your courage and your strength and your poise in the face of your government withdrawing their support and horrendous bullying by the boycott, divestment and sanctions movement. In her question last night, the Queens were asked if they had any advice for young women, and she said, I implore young women to choose courage over comfort. And she was absolutely emblematic of that. But it's not just about the individual queens, it is also about what the Miss Universe pageant has brought to Israel. Not only has it brought an opportunity for so many around the world to be introduced to Israel, our extraordinary history, the beauty of our country, through the social media, through the interaction of the various queens representing their countries, but it has been an opportunity for them to come to Israel and meet with Israelis themselves. And the consistent opinion is that we have the most wonderful, friendly people, and I concur, and we look forward to seeing so many Miss Universe contestants returning to our countries with their family and their friends. It has also significantly helped the seaside city of Eilat. Eilat is largely dependent on tourism, as are many cities around the world. Tourism has been battered by the global pandemic, and Eilat has been no exception. And we are really hoping that the amount of exposure will help reinvigorate not just Eilat, but Israel and Israeli tourism as a whole. People who we don't feel very sorry for today will be the BDS movement, and I'm sure they will be crying in their coffee cups at the extraordinary achievement of the Jewish state and the love shown to us by so many around the world. But what can we say? Or if you have any doubts as to what happens in Israel, perhaps come and visit and see us for yourself. So those are the top stories making headlines. I know we are a little bit early with your news today, but I'm taking a little bit of a vacation this week, so you will get your Israel brief as soon as I'm able to record it. But if you miss us, don't look any further than our website at www.layoftheland.online. We have an article going up by Fionn Grunspan about relations between Israel and the United Kingdom. It will be up on our Facebook page at Lottel's site. If you haven't already given us a like or a follow or shared our content, please do so. We are on the Israel Brief we're on YouTube. Sorry, I see I'm starting my vacation early. We are on YouTube. Our channel is called The Israel Brief. Don't forget to subscribe by clicking on the red subscribe button. And if you want to be notified every time we post, hit that little bell. And we're also on Twitter at layoftheland5. That's at layoftheland5. So from me, Rolene Marks, who's already on vacation, I will check in with you tomorrow as I bring you those top stories.